Welcome back, folks. I'm Danny the Dinosaur Drawer, and today I'm going to be showing you all how to draw the Carnotaurus from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So yeah, the supplies I'm going to probably be using in this video are my Graphic Gear 500 mechanical pencil, my trusty eraser, an eraser pencil, two shading pencils, one is 2B, the other is 6B, my nice brush for taking away eraser debris, and maybe the smudging tool. So this is a whole lot of equipment, but if you don't have any of them, it's fine. Any regular school pencil will work fine like this. So yeah, let's dive right into this tutorial by putting in an outline. Yeah, so the first thing we want to do is just get the proportions right. So let's see, we're going to put in, I'm going to put like an oval shape here for the head. This angle is like looking straight at us, which is very difficult, but I'm always up for a challenge. So you have a bigger circle behind it, an oval for the thigh. I have this two stubby arms right there. This jaw is going to be opened wide. The horns will be sticking out the top there, and the tail will be going off the side. This leg is going to be bent back. We're going to see part of this leg. But I'm not going to worry about drawing the feet because they're not showing up. You can't see them in this reference image, which is fine. They'll be a hassle anyways, so we'll try and avoid drawing in the feet, but if you want to, that's fine. Just going to put in 3 lines here representing the rows of spikes that it has on the back. Then the eyes will be right about there. So this is an extremely rough outline, but I think the proportions look so pretty correct. So that's what we're going to be using for this tutorial. So yeah, go ahead and do that quick outline, and then we'll dive in to put in more detail and refinement. So yeah, right off the bat, we're going to start drawing the head. Just putting in refinement, and that's probably one of the most challenging parts of this drawing. And I really want to do a good job because I know a lot of you guys love Carnotaurus. I don't want to disappoint anyone. So, that being said, we're going to start with the upper jaw, just by putting in this roller coaster shape. It goes up and down. So put that in. I'm just going to erase a little bit around. Now that, since I assumed you've just done that, we're going to work on the teeth and the gums. So yeah, for each tooth you want to put like a round circle, like a half circle, and the tooth will come down to a point. That one might be a little large. Carnotaurus had small teeth, so I'm going to erase that one and put in a smaller one. But yeah, we're going to put these teeth along the entire edge of the jaw. Remember, making them a little too big is never that bad because the background here is going to be quite dark, so when we put in the shading around the teeth, it immediately makes them look a lot smaller. So making them look a little larger than you think is always a good thing. So have the teeth stop right about there, because that's where we're going to put in the muscle that opens and closes the jaws of predatory dinosaurs. Then we're going to put a little bit of refinement inside the mouth. We've got to put in like the palate there and the throat. Put in the throat right here. I think that looks about right because we're going to have the tongue. Yeah. So the very back of the mouth is going to be right about, just trying to see if my measurements are correct. This is the middle, so yeah, the throat will be right about here. Let's erase a bit. This is the very back of the throat, and for that I'll probably use my 6B shading pencil to make it really black. But if you're just using a regular pencil, you can just do it by pressing a little harder. pressing down a little harder with your pencil. So yeah, all this area is going to be dark as well. Just not as dark as the throat, because that's gonna be like utter blackness. It's almost like a cave, you know? So shade that in. And I might use my smudger a little bit to smooth things out a bit. And then we'll shade carefully in between each tooth. Like so. Now that we've finished the inside of the upper palate, we can now begin putting in a little bit more work. Let's put some more work in the bottom jaw. So we're just going to put in this muscle that opens and snaps the jaw closed. And that will stop right about there. It's all about symmetry and making everything on both sides look the same when you're drawing a dinosaur head from the very front. So I think that length looks about right. Might be a tiny bit short. So I'm actually going to use my eraser pencil, since I don't want to wear down my mechanical pencil's eraser just yet. And the paper I'm using right now is actually meant for drawing comics and stuff, so it's more meant for pen, so it really smears, which is problematic. But I like the paper so much that I decided to use it, just because it's a little bit heavier dude. It's more of a heavy duty paper, so I don't feel as bad about pressing really hard with my pencil. So we add teeth to the bottom like so. Then we can add a tongue, which will come right about here, and the tongue will have a line going down the middle. And both sides will be shaded. There's a bunch of little dots on the tongue, which you guys can add to give it an extra layer of realism. So yeah, comment below. I like when you guys comment. Comment below if Carnotaurus is your favorite dinosaur, because it's definitely one of my top 3 favorites. See, I think my top 3 favorites would be Carnotaurus, Tyrannosaurus Rex, and then I like Mosasaurus, but if we're just talking dinosaurs and not counting sea reptiles or flying reptiles, then I would say I like Ankylosaurus a lot. But I'd probably say all my favorite dinosaurs are meat eaters. Carnotaurus, T-Rex, and I like Allosaurus a lot. So yeah, probably Allosaurus would be also in the top 3. People often forget that Allosauruses often would grow almost to the size of a T-Rex. Like the average Allosaurus was around 30 feet, and the average T-Rex was around 35 feet. So the difference there is not that different. Allosaurus is just more of a light built dinosaur with a long tail and more of a thin jaw. But yeah, still a very cool dinosaur. See, we've spent a lot of time on the inside of the mouth, but I just want to get that right. So now let's put in the outer edge. Put in the chin. I'm trying to see how wide to make it, because from the front it's going to look quite thin on the edges. The sides right about here. So thus far, I think it looks pretty symmetrical. Might be off by a little bit, but that's fine because even human faces, oftentimes one side is much different than the other. You notice that a lot of times with people's noses, you look at someone or take a picture of someone from the very front of their face, you'll notice that one nostril is different than the other, which is kind of funny. So I'm going to put a little bit of scales on the edge here. But what matters more than scales is the shading, so I'm just going to do some nice shading here. So I think bottom jaw is complete. Let's head on to the upper jaw, which will be very fun to do. It's very challenging. So if yours is turning out great, that's amazing, because drawing dinosaur faces from the front is very difficult. So yeah, the first thing we're going to do, I'm just going to put in some scales along the lip here. And then after we finish that, I'll worry about putting in drawing the eye and the horns and all that, and the nostrils. So this scene is like right before the Carnotaurus is going to attack Owen, who's trying to hide behind the gyrosphere. I bet you all remember that scene from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. It's the scene that was sort of spoiled in the trailer, that first trailer that came out, which I was totally against. I thought they should have definitely not shown the T-Rex killing the Carnotaurus there. They should have left us in suspense, like, oh no, what's going to happen? Is the Carnotaurus actually going to eat them? Instead of revealing that the T-Rex is going to save them at the last minute. So now we've put the nostrils in, and the snout. You can add some scales and bumpiness, because Carnotaurus has very rough skin. And yeah, I'd just like to say that I really enjoyed looking at your guys' drawings from Google+, and I'm really sad that they're closing Google+, but hopefully we will find another platform very soon which we can migrate to. Right now I'm sort of on Instagram, but I don't have an official Danny the Dinosaur Drawer account. I have a Draw Sketchy account, which is a partnership I'm doing with a friend, where we both are co-owners of the Instagram account. But Instagram could work. I might just have to start my own official Danny the Dinosaur Drawer Instagram account. So if you want me to do that, you can just comment below and I'll respond, and if enough of you guys want it, I will definitely start my own Danny the Dinosaur Drawer Instagram account where I will feature people who tag me. Because I've tried Discord, but I don't really like the atmosphere there too much. So I probably won't use Discord, even though I know a lot of you guys use it. But for me, Instagram's a little bit simpler to use and stuff. So yeah, now we put in the horns. We're gonna shade them so they basically look more three-dimensional. Whoops. Losing control of my pencil. So yeah, we don't even really need to put a line at the top there. A lot of times you can use illusions in art, so people's eyes will automatically fill in the spots that are not colored in. If I just hint the horn is a little thicker than that, people automatically piece it together with their eyes. If you get what I'm talking about, I'm just trying to draw the light reflecting off of the horns, making them look a little bit more three-dimensional. So the eyes are very laid back in the skull. So you can barely see them. And I can't really see the pupil. I'm going to draw it anyways. Make sure both sides look similar. See if that's correct. Maybe this one should be a little higher. So yeah, now the face is looking pretty good, and I think it's time to move on to the back, or yeah, the main body. So the first thing we're going to do is put in like the rough spikes to line the spine here, like so. I'm trying to make them different sizes, and then disappear over the back there. It's got another row here. In this row, each one is sort of separated a little more. Here we have another row. Let's put a little bit of shading and lines between each row, like so. The main thing to making this dinosaur look detailed is probably putting in the scales, just because Carnotaurus has such bumpy skin. But I'm trying to do as much as I can just by shading, because putting in scales takes a long time. So I'm putting in the chest right now. In the neck, we can see a little bit of the neck right about here. Of course it's darker because of the shadow. So put shade under the bottom jaw. And we're gonna see the one hand of Carnotaurus on this side with its little tiny fingers. I mean, check these hands out, they're so tiny. It's like, what could Carnotaurus have used them for? They definitely acted more as hands, because I think they had 4 fingers and sort of had like a thumb. So who knows, it could have been meant for gripping things, or not exactly sure. So yeah, we're gonna put in the hand here. And next, you just put in a lot of lines. The more lines you add, or maybe not lines might not be the right word, but like wrinkles, it'll make the other dinosaur look more textured. So I'm gonna draw the other shoulder blade. It's gonna have stubby little arm protruding from the shoulder blade. put in the 4 fingers. Carnotaurus in reality though was such a small predator that a ton of herbivores, I bet it wouldn't even attack them because they're too big for Carnotaurus. He probably just took down smaller prey. It was so cool, that scene in the theater where it's battling the Sinoceratops. Like, the theater I was in had really good sound, really good audio. So like the tumbling around of the 2 dinosaurs just sounded amazing. It's a great experience watching them tumble on the big screen. So whenever there's a movie coming out, and you should definitely go see it if it's a movie you like, because it's not the same watching it at home as it is in the theater. The theater always is a much better experience. I find that a lot of times I enjoy a movie a lot more if I have I'm watching it with my friends as well. So watching it by yourself is not always as fun either, but it's like I went to watch Jurassic World with some friends, so it was a ton of fun. Because then we went out and had dinner and talked about it afterwards. But yeah, going to theaters is a great experience. I'm really hoping to go see Avengers Endgame. That's going to be very exciting. And hopefully I'll be doing some drawings from that. Because I think my 3 main points of interest in art would be dinosaurs, like paleo art, then comic art, sort of like superheroes mainly, and portrait art. I love doing portraits, but I love drawing superheroes. And then of course dinosaurs has always been my forte. So yeah, we can see a few of the ribs popping out a bit here in the stomach. So I'm going to quickly shade that. And I'm going to use the smudger a little more. Smudger gives you quick results, especially if it already has a lot of graphite on it. If you just want to give the whole drawing just some more color, instead of just having it being the same color as the paper, then the smudger is a great tool, but it can mess up a little bit of your details. It's like right now I'm smudging, but I'm going to add scales on top of it, which is a good idea, because like doing the scales before would not work unless you just smudged lightly. But the smudger will oftentimes blur the scales that were drawn with so much care and neatness. So I usually draw the scales afterward. But before we continue on with the torso area, I'm going to put in this part of the leg. And to make it so it doesn't really blend in as much with the rest of the body, because I don't want that. I want people to be able to tell this is the leg. I'm going to have the pencil strokes going in a different direction. And I'm not going to smudge it too much, just a little. Like so. I will not worry about putting scales or anything, because I want the hand of the Carnotaurus to stand out, even though there's darkness behind it. So yeah, that looks pretty good. I think we will now, I'm just going to show you guys a little bit of how I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a little shading for each spike here. It's like each one has its own little volcano. So treat it like the sun's shining from like the top there. So we'll just have the right side all shaded in. And I will continue that for the top row there. There's a little bit of wrinkles here because we're going to be putting in the thigh of the other leg. So yeah, I'm probably going to time lapse this part of drawing in all those scales and bumpiness, because that's going to take a long time. And the Carnotaurus does have a cool pattern of, not really stripes, more like blotches. So that's going to be kind of cool to do. I'm going to do it but in a little much lighter shade, because it actually has it all along the top here. It doesn't stand out too much. It's not too obvious, and I almost was not going to do it, but I think now I'm going to, just do a little bit of smudging. So yeah, I'll see you guys after I finish all this detail. So our Carnotaurus is looking quite fat. I just noticed that. Yeah, it looks pretty stout, but I'm not sure if there's much I can do about it right now. I'm just looking at it. It looks like quite a large torso. But yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it like that for now, because it would be too painful to erase much right now. So the next big thing we're gonna be working on is the thigh. Getting the leg finished. It's kind of a very thick thigh. It's kind of a bulging calf. I always think dinosaurs have very human-like legs, to some extent. At least a lot of times the way people draw them makes them look very human-like. So this leg is basically going to be posed to the side here. And I want to make it look a little bit more like it attaches to the body. So let's erase some of the lines we no longer need. And I'm going to put a quick little sketch of the tail. So there's the hip right about there. And then the muscular tail will go off the side of the page there. So just erase a little bit of the mess here. Like so. And now you will see why I use this brush, because it's so helpful, and I avoid smudging. So yeah, let's start putting in some shading. Actually, let me use my 2B pencil. 6B is a little too dark. But doing a lot of fast strokes, I'm basically just giving the leg a sense of shape and roundness. It has some wrinkles there. And put in a little bit of a dark spot here to emphasize the separation of the muscle. I think how muscular the legs of this dinosaur has to be. It's carrying like a huge amount of weight. on just 2 legs. So the legs would have to contain a lot of muscle. And a lot of size too, just to be able to balance itself. I think humans, like almost half their body weight is probably their legs. Depending on the people, definitely, but some people, a lot of people carry a lot of weight in their legs just to be able to hold up their mass. So a 2-legged dinosaur, especially like Carnotaurus or T-Rex, maybe the raptors could probably have smaller legs and stuff. But once you get past 1 ton, the back legs would have to be very large to hold up the amazing size and weight. That's a big reason I think why the dinosaurs had long tails, is to help balance their weight. So the knee is going to be right about there. And here's the heel. And as I said, we're not really going to draw the feet. And do a little bit of smudging to quicken things up a bit. And as I said, I'm going to do all the scales time-lapsed. I know you guys love hearing my lovely voice, but there are times when I run out of things to say during a tutorial, so that's why I time-lapse the parts with scales, because you guys know how to do scales. They're quite simple, just a bunch of little circles of different sizes and different darkness. Some of them are light, some of them are dark, some of them are big, some of them are small. And that's about all you have to do, all you have to remember. And maybe another thing is to make them more oval-like when you're drawing them like on the side of the leg here. And when they're straight on, you do them circular like so. And actually I'm going to do the scales as the last part, because right now I want to just show you guys how to do some of the tail. So the tail is very muscular as well. When you think about it, I guess the tail is just one big muscle. It's not like the leg, which has a lot of bones and stuff. Tail is, I guess, I don't know how to describe it. It's sort of like an eel. It's one long bunch of bone and then a bunch of muscle encasing it. So, presumably, a dinosaur's tail would have been one of its weapons, like a weapon of defense. I don't think a predatory dinosaur would really use its tail for attacking, but maybe when it was fighting with another predatory dinosaur, it would use its tail. So that's why I'm giving it a lot of definition, separation. And overall muscularity. So that's pretty good. Very, very good. Now I'm going to add a little bit of spikes that are poking over the edge here. And there's going to be a few of them, yeah, just scattered about the top here. And again, I will use my useful smudging tool. to bring our drawing one step closer to completion. So yeah, the rest of it's probably going to be time-lapsed as I put in the last bit of refinement and scales to our drawing. And actually, before I do that, I'm looking at this drawing right now, and I believe the bottom part of this leg might be a little bit too thick. So I'm going to shave some of that off with my eraser. That looks a little better. This leg is at a very weird angle. Now that I've done that, I think it looks pretty good. And yeah, you guys will see me at the outro and when I erase all the smudging that I've created along the way. But yeah, now I'm gonna do the tedious work of putting in all the scales. So guys, we finally did it. So we finally finished this amazing drawing of the Carnotaurus from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and now really all there is left to do is to sign our drawing. So that's what I'm doing right now in the corner. And be sure to put the date, that's very important. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun drawing this, and I hope yours turned out well. If they did, please post them on Instagram and tag me at DrawSketcha for now. Later I might get my own Danny the Dinosaur Drawer Instagram account, but I haven't done that yet. And yeah, be sure to check out my website. You'll see that in the link in the description below, and my Patreon page if you're interested in that as well. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll see y'all in the next video.